Imagine a world where a pinch of powder could buy a kingdom, where tiny seeds of flavor commanded fleets, armies, and empires. Cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, these were not just spices, they were the currency that financed the rise of empires. The Dutch and Portuguese didn't just explore the world, they conquered it with trade contracts, ledgers, and mercenary fleets. And yet, the story isn't just about wealth. It's a tale of deception, intrigue, and a high-stakes gamble that reshaped global economics forever. Long before Europe's explorers set sail, spices were already treasures in Asia. Cinnamon from Sri Lanka, nutmeg from the Banda Islands, cloves from the Moluccas, these commodities were worth more than gold in European markets. Spices weren't just for taste. They preserved food, cured diseases, and symbolized status. European demand surged in the late 15th century. Monarchs and merchants alike realized that whoever controlled the spice trade could control wealth, politics, and influence. But the twist, the path to dominance required naval innovation, ruthless strategy, and financial risk unlike anything seen before. In 1498, Vasco da Gama arrived in India, opening a direct maritime route from Europe to the spice-rich lands of Asia. Portugal established fortified trading posts in Goa, Malacca, and the Moluccas. Their system was simple but deadly effective. Control the source, monopolize supply, and maximize profit. Portugal's model relied on state-backed finance, risk-sharing, and naval technology. Merchants and monarchs pooled resources, much like venture capitalists today, funding voyages that could yield 500% profit or complete financial ruin. Every spice-laden ship was a lottery ticket with human lives at stake. By the 17th century, Portugal's dominance waned, and the Dutch East India Company, VOC, rose. The VOC wasn't just a company, it was a state within a state, issuing stock, waging wars, and controlling entire islands for nutmeg and cloves. The Dutch pioneered the first modern global commodity market, standardizing prices, futures contracts, and profit sharing. Their empire thrived on finance as much as force. Fleets transported spices from Banda and Ternate, warehouses in Amsterdam stored them, and merchants profited from arbitrage across Europe. The VOC's annual profits often exceeded national budgets. Even spice empires were fragile. Wars, piracy, and disease threatened the flow of commodities. Both Portuguese and Dutch ventures suffered massive losses from storms, mutiny, and failed harvests. The Banda Islands, home of the nutmeg monopoly, saw entire populations displaced or enslaved to maintain control. The breaking point came when overextension met resistance. Maintaining monopolies required brutality, investment, and political cunning, or else profits collapsed. Yet the lesson endured. Control over resources must be balanced with sustainability and diplomacy. Despite ruthless control, markets fluctuated. Overproduction, piracy, and changing tastes caused prices to collapse. Dutch and Portuguese empires attempted fixes, stockpiling spices, enforcing monopolies, and aggressive military campaigns, but many failed. By the late 17th century, smuggling, alternative trade routes, and rising competition eroded profits. Empires that once controlled the spice trade struggled to adapt, showing that even global dominance is temporary without flexibility and innovation. The spice trade foreshadowed today's global commodities markets. Oil, gold, coffee, and even tech resources follow similar dynamics. Speculation, monopolies, futures trading, and geopolitical control continue to dictate wealth and power. Consider shocking data. In 2020, commodity markets traded trillions of dollars globally. Supply chain disruptions, like those during the COVID-19 pandemic, revealed how dependent modern economies are on resource management, echoing lessons from the spice trade centuries ago. What can we learn from the spice empires? 1. Resources are power. Controlling key commodities can shape empires, influence politics, and finance innovation. 2. Overextension is dangerous. Even vast empires crumble under logistical strain and market shifts. 3. Markets reward strategy, not force alone. Sustainable success requires finance, foresight, and adaptability. The spice trade reminds us wealth and influence are fleeting without strategy, ethics, and adaptation. Empires rise and fall, markets surge and crash, and human ambition always drives the outcome. The real question is, which modern commodities are today's spices, and who will control them next? If you want more stories of empires, finance, and the hidden forces shaping history and today's markets, subscribe to Financial Club, hit the bell, and join a community exploring money, power, and strategy across time. Comment below. Which historical trade or commodity empire should we dive into next?